Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lunch for the Soul. I am Melissa Wilson, Fox 26 morning anchor, but also a medical reporter. And with that part of my job, I get to meet and then introduce you to some of the most fascinating people. Most of them have had I'll call it a medical tragedy in their life, but their faith really kicks in when they need it the most. And then they come out on the other end and have a beautiful testimony to share. That is certainly the case with our guest today. I want to bring in Kate. Here she is. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you have a remarkable journey to share with us. A lot of sorrow came at first, but things are going so amazing, and we can't wait to get to that part. So I'm thankful you're here, and this is all about your beloved, precious boy, Tristan. Before we start this, everybody, I have to give a little sneak peek into this and tell you he's 4 years old now, and I just got to hang out at his house, and he is a go-getter. He is so amazing, Kate. I loved meeting him so much.
Oh, thank you. He is just, he's my life and he's just so adorable. I can't with him.
Yeah, well, he is a remarkable child. His
Yes.
personality and I love being with him because it so reminded me of when my boys were little because he loves Thomas the Train and Scooby Doo and all those things that a boy mom knows all too well about, right? Well, let's go
Yes.
back in time and start from the beginning. Everything was going well in
Mhm.
your pregnancy. You were what, about 12 weeks along, and that's when you got some tough news. Share what you found out.
We found out that Tristan had an omphalocele, which is a birth defect that causes his midline abdomen not to fully close while they're forming. And so his organs were actually outside of his body in a sac. So his liver, stomach, and intestines were outside. And so learned that at 12 weeks. So I did know throughout the pregnancy about this birth defect, but it
Mhm.
was really hard. This was my first child. I never expected to have children. I had been told that I couldn't have kids. And so he was kind of unexpected to begin with. And then to hear this news and this condition can be very alarming and is, they're because your organs are not inside your body as they're developing in utero, the lungs don't always develop correctly. And so a lot of times they can't breathe on birth and, a lot of other issues can occur. So it was extremely scary.
And
Um,
even though that happened, I mean, your beautiful baby boy came out. He cried. You got to hear that voice, and he was
yes.
really strong and healthy, except for the fact that this happened, right?
Yes. And my mom has always been very devout in her faith. I definitely lost my way during my early 20s, especially after my father passed away. And he passed away in my early 20s, and that's just when I kind of lost my way a little bit. But my mom, as soon as I told her, she said, God gave you him for a reason. And, at first I'm like, okay, okay, mom. And, one of the things with this condition, and I will say my doctor did not push it by any means, but they ask if you want to continue. Do you want to continue with this pregnancy? And I said, absolutely. Like it was zero hesitation. You know, never would I not give him a chance. And so, um, I just, when my mom's saying that God gave him to me for a reason, it hit something. And I started praying again and just, if you'll just let him be healthy, like I just please, I just please. And he did. He came out crying. It was the best sound in the world. Sorry, now I'm gonna cry. I think I can't.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
It's so huge
Okay.
that you found your faith in all of this. I mean, I think that that's such a big moment. It almost seems like this happened for a reason, especially now that he's okay, right?
Right, and that's what I feel. I feel like it was kind of a double thing for me because it was because of this happening, I did find my way back to God. I found my way back to faith, and it has really been life changing in that respect. But also, in this having this beautiful miracle child who, um, did need somebody like me. Being in a hospital and being in NICU, and you do, no matter how great the doctors are, you do have to really advocate for your child, and you have to advocate what's in their best interest, and that's something that I do. I'm never scared to speak my mind or give my opinion or advocate, and so, God was right to give him to me because there's nothing I will not do for him, and God knew that.
Well, I have to tell you, I talked to Tristan's surgeon just a few minutes ago, in fact, and I got to talk to him. He was in a very busy man at UT Health, super
Yes,
surgery there. And then your son's hospital was Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital, right? But
yes.
he had the most amazing things to say about you and how you made such a big difference in this child's life of everything that you and his dad did right. And I know that has to feel good as a mom to hear that he said, his job was done until Tristan got old enough to have the surgery. It was all on you pretty much and his dad. That's a lot of responsibility. How did you handle that, knowing that you had to protect your child from germs? And let's go back and talk about what you were having to do. You were having to wrap him with an ace bandage until he got old enough for his basically his abdominal cavity to be able to handle his organs, right? I want to warn everybody, I'm going to show a picture so you can get a better idea. And you're okay with us showing the photos that you sent me?
Absolutely.
First of all, I want to talk about this picture right here. So this is the moment you got to touch him. What
That
was
was
this
the
like? I feel the emotion. You almost don't even have to describe it.
Yeah, I think my face is that was the first moment I got to see him and touch him, and yeah, it speaks for itself.
It truly does. And then we have this picture here. See how little he is. And then this was the problem. So this is where his
Right.
organs were born on outside of his body, and they were able to wrap it so they protect it from germs, right? But
Yes.
then until he was 15 months old, did you keep a wrap like that on it and then an ace bandage, and you're trying to get them to just slowly go back into where where they normally would sit?
So we continue just to put the medicine on it, and I love that picture. Um, Continue to put the medicine on it and put a gauze wrap until skin had grown all the way over it.
Mhm.
And once it was fully protected by skin, then we weren't worried about the sac, breaking and his
Mhm.
organs just being left to the air. So once it had the skin, then that's when we started using the ACE bandage, and we just kind of medieval squished it back inside of his body very slowly, letting his abdomen get used to having that pressure. And then about 4 to 5 months, everything was back inside of his body, but it's kind of just like having a hernia. You
Yeah.
have this open space and everything can come back out. And so we had to continue to keep it wrapped 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Um, and that's just, Dr. Sal said, if you can keep this wrap on and keep that skin nice and taut, it makes my job easier. And I said, okay, done. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's you got it. I'm just wondering, was that painful for him? Could you tell, or you were able to stop at a point where it seemed like it might be uncomfortable for him? Because obviously, as a baby, he can't tell you. You just have to read all of his signs and see how he's handling it.
So yeah, he never seemed bothered by us pressing on it. It used to scare me because Dr. Sal would just come and just push on the Omphalla seal, and it would scare me. I'm like, "You're gonna break it, stop." Um, but it never seemed to bother Tristan, and, the only thing that really bothered him, and it was sad, was the ace, having something wrapped around you like that 24/7, irritates your skin, and then, he would just kind of pull on it as a baby, and so I had to be very good about using lotion and trying to protect, and it made me feel bad, but honestly, I was like, I'd rather you have, itchy skin right now, and it's just better in the long run. So we're just gonna have to put up with this. And that's never a fun thing to do as a mom.
Oh, no, not at that's the last thing you wanna have to do, but and it almost seems like he never knew the difference, which is a really
Mm,
good thing as well. What about
mm.
the other milestones? Everything coming along just like every like it's supposed to? You're following along all the books and trying to figure it out?
Everything. That was something we were very concerned about, was him hitting his milestones in a somewhat normal
Mhm,
time frame, and
mhm.
he is just hitting them like nothing.
That is
He's a
so awesome.
completely
Well, look
normal kiddo.
yeah, well, and look, just a normal mom having fun on an outing at a park with your kiddo, and here he is. He is so much fun. Oh my goodness. And I got to see him, everybody drive around the yard in his tractor, and let me tell you, I think he can drive better than me. Okay, so this is the
He really does.
surgery. So this is how it
Yes.
started, far left. This is in the middle after you had been pushing in for 15 months or
Yes.
how long? About that time? Right before the
About 15, 14 to, yeah, it was right before 15 months.
uh-huh. And then that's it after the surgery, and it's healed up beautifully,
Yeah.
right?
It really has. His scar looks amazing. I mean, he handled the surgery. Dr. Sow had said that maybe he would be in the hospital for about a week after the surgery. He was there for 3 days, and then we got to go home. The day after his surgery, he was up walking around and, well, kind of toddling around the hallways and flirting with the nurses. I'm like, can somebody tell this kid he just had surgery? It just didn't seem to bother him. I mean, kids are so strong.
Well, they bounce back so fast, which is huge. I love this photo. He's so precious, just looking down, and this is after all the surgery said and done, and he's healed.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, it's
What a
all done now.
what an amazing feeling it has to be on the other side of that. Like, that is just huge, and here he is getting older, and look how healthy he looks. You would never guess in a million years that this kid has been through all this. I mean, he is a true go-getter.
Yep, he's raced in several of the little kid 1Ks, because I do a lot of 5Ks and 10Ks, and
Mhm.
he always does the 1K. He's been doing them since he was little. So,
That's a really healthy thing for him to get to do, and talking to his doctor, it doesn't sound like anything has to hold him back. It sounds like he can just have a typical childhood. Is that what you understand?
that's what we've been told, and so, that's another thing where my faith has really come in, because when you go through so much when they're so little and you're so scared, and you feel like you're kind of white knuckling everything, and you're gripping so hard just to make sure they're okay. And then everybody tells, the doctor's like, oh, just let him be a kid now. It can be really difficult. And so, I just put my faith in God that everything's going to be okay. And I just let him be a kid. I let go.
Yeah, that's huge. And then what about moving forward? How often will he be monitored? How will they keep a close eye on him, not only through childhood, but when he moves on and is on his own and later in life?
So we have just at this point yearly appointments with Dr. Sal. He just checks in on him. But we do, Dr. Sal's amazing. I have his cell phone number. So if anything comes up, if there's something that concerns me, I'm able just to shoot him a text message. I'm so thankful to have that communication with him. But at this point, we really just make sure that he's eating okay, that everything's being digested properly through his system, and that's just something I watch for now. And as he gets older, he's going to have to learn his body and just continue to watch, that everything's kind of moving through his system appropriately, because his organs are not in the right place. He's got loops of intestines in different places in his abdomen, which can cause issues. But the only way to know is just to, kind of watch your system. And so that's something he'll have to deal with for the rest of his life. But hopefully, nothing will ever happen.
And as you say, he will have to deal with that, but certainly you as his mom, and I know as a mom,
Yeah.
everything about our kids affects our heart and our soul. So I want to go a little more into your faith journey and then talk about
Yeah.
how things could have been so different with your journey. And I feel like your faith and pulling in that positive energy changed a lot of things, or at least it turned out really well for you. For instance, you thought that he might very well be in NICU, which is a neonatal ICU where the sickest babies are kept for half a year, but he was in and out in
Yeah.
about 4 weeks. I mean, how incredible was
Yeah.
that to begin with? It was
I
tough enough,
feel
but that was
so
nice, right?
yeah, I mean, I just feel incredibly blessed. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. We are so incredibly blessed. And things could have been, like you said, things could have been worse. We could have been there for 6 months. He could be on a feeding tube. He would not have been able to breathe alone. He would have had to have the machine breathe. I mean, these were all things that we were told are very normal for these children to have to go through. And he has just beaten every single odd and is just flying through things. And sometimes it scares me. I still have that. It's been too easy. It's gone too okay. Like something bad might happen. And I just always go back to my faith and that for whatever reason, God blessed us and has made this
Mhm.
journey good and as easy as it can be. Obviously it wasn't easy in all respects, but I
Mhm.
mean, I feel like we've had it easy.
Well, and I think it's so important that you're sharing this because we know that everybody has strife in their lives. You can't live without it. But when we meet people like you and we can learn from you and you can be our inspiration and remember to cling to that faith during the hard times, it can truly make a huge difference. What do you love most about hanging out with Tristan? What are your favorite things to do with him?
We love going on walks. That's something we've done since he was a baby. I would take him in the stroller, and so now he walks next to me, and we sing songs. And that's probably one of my favorite things because we just chat and sing songs, and we walk around the neighborhood and look at the trees and the flowers. And so that's one of my favorite things to do with him.
Wow,
Just spend.
what wonderful memories to cling to the rest of your life. Those are some of my favorite memories of a mom, and I promise you will remember it forever. It'll always be so close to you. This, as we wrap up today, pretty much says it all. We've got a high five going on with this precious team, his surgeon extraordinaire at UT Health. How thankful are you that this hospital between UT Health, Children's Memorial Hermann, were able to do so much for your family?
Words cannot express what Dr. Sao and his entire staff mean to us. I mean, incredible from the very moment I met Dr. Sao through today. I mean, him and his staff and everybody at Children's Memorial, I mean, they made the entire difference in this. They are absolutely incredible.
It's
So,
just so neat to see them together, and, especially now that he's gotten to be older and he can talk, and it's just truly remarkable. For anybody who says, "I don't believe, I don't understand that nonsense," what would you tell them? How do you think you found your faith again?
it was a feeling inside. I don't know a better way to describe it than there was something that changed in how I felt and how I saw life
Mhm.
and how I saw that there has to be more to this. And watching my miraculous son go through what he's done, I could feel it in my heart.
Mhm.
And I also want to just mention that we have so much love and support from our colleagues and friends in this community, and they prayed and shared their faith with us. And that is also essential to this journey is my colleagues and friends and family's faith really helped as well.
Well, and to be able to pull all this off with you and Tristan's dad both being defense attorneys, I mean, these huge jobs with that balancing act of dealing with the hospital and hospitalizations and a child who was, had a lot of needs when he was little. You've done a remarkable
Yeah.
job, and you're on the other side now, and it's so happy. I mean, I just feel so honored to be able to share your journey. I'm so happy for your family. Thank you for sharing a very private story with us, and I hope a lot of people will learn so much from you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. We
My
really appreciate it.
God bless you and that precious boy. And I want you all to remember you can always catch us Lunch for the Soul on our Fox 26 YouTube page. You can also go to our Fox local app, and then you don't have to watch it on your computer or your phone. You can actually watch it right there on your TV. All of my Lunch for the Souls are on Fox Local for your smart TV. So I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll join me next time. Wednesdays, 12:30, the place to be. So I'll see you back here next time. Hope you have a beautiful day. If you have any ideas and you want to be featured on Lunch for the Soul, you know you can always reach out to me. Probably the easiest way is melissa.wilson@fox.com. And I hope to see you next time.